Hey Kevin, Property Soldier here. Okay, so I'm just going to explain this live recording to you before I crack on. So I'm living this into several different platforms. I'm onto my YouTube, onto my Facebook pages, into the progressive property community. So lots of different places all at once. And I'm also recording it as a podcast episode. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover the content that I've got about SA and posting on social media. And I will then come to questions at the end. So as you're watching this, those people who are watching, then feel free to post any questions or any comments. That's absolutely fine. And once I have done the content and it's a wrap on the podcast episode, then I will have a look at any questions that anyone has posted and answer those live. And then anyone watching this on the replay, on catch up, then feel free to also post any questions and comments that you may have. And I will check back in from time to time and answer any questions and comments that you make. Okay, fantastic. So I'm going to start the content now, and that will form the podcast episode. So I'm going to introduce the episode and crack on with the content. Welcome to the Service Accommodation Property Podcast. So this particular episode is on service accommodation and posting on social media and why that is so important. Now, ultimately, this should get everyone's attention. It's going to help you raise money, raise joint venture finance. Okay, so that's going to help you build your portfolio. And it's also going to help you get properties. Yes, people will bring you their properties for you to use as service accommodation, and posting on social media helps that to happen. So typically that's going to be properties that you can manage as service accommodation. So SA management type deals. There's lots of different information that I've posted and that I have episodes that I've recorded around benefits to landlords of giving you their properties as service accommodation. So properties kept in show home condition, avoiding Section 24 tax, getting capital allowances. So check out my other videos and podcast episodes on all of those things. But ultimately, the point I'm making here is that by posting on social media, you are making that situation more likely to happen, because if people don't know about it, then how could they know about it? And you posting on social media is going to make that more likely to happen. Okay, so it could also give you team members. So I was chatting to somebody the other day, actually on Clubhouse, the new social media platform, and I suggested that he should go and work with someone that I know in his area. It's actually Scotty Hodson in Bedford. And so he was in Bedford, and he just wanted to know, is there anyone that he could hook up with there and sort of learn on the job type thing, giving his time for free and learning from somebody who is an experienced service accommodation operator. And so, yeah, I told him to go and hook up with Scotty. So it can bring you team members. You might have someone that comes along to you and says, look, I'd just like to learn. Can I do anything for you? So that can happen. And also collaboration. So I call them competimates. In fact, it was my friend and colleague Dan Eaton that coined the phrase competimates. Well, you don't have to be at odds with competitors in your area or other people doing service accommodation in your area. You can collaborate, and you can give them bookings when you are full, and they can give you bookings when they are full. And it's a win-win situation when you think about it in those terms. Now, there are multiple different platforms to be posting on, and I know it can be a little bit overwhelming. So Facebook, yeah, I'm going to start with Facebook. Now you've got a Facebook page. So what I suggest you do for your service accommodation business is have its own Facebook page. Now, I was just looking at comments then, just in case there was any issues with people seeing or hearing me, but it all looks fine. So yeah, that's what I advocate you do. Have your own Facebook page for your serviced accommodation business, not per property, but for your serviced accommodation business. It just gives you more chance of getting direct bookings. Now, you should be also posting into Facebook groups. Now, the Progressive Property Community, that is a Facebook group. So you can be jumping into other Facebook groups. Obviously, generic property, but there are also specific serviced accommodation type groups as well. So go and search for those, you know, on Facebook. You can also find ones by searching that may be in your local area. So serviced accommodation Swansea, for instance, that is a Facebook group. And you can also be posting onto your own profile. Now, people get a little bit afraid of posting on their own Facebook profile because they don't want their friends and family and their work colleagues and stuff to know what they're doing. Now, I'm on the fence a little bit about this. Sometimes I say, no, just do it. Tough. If they don't like it, it's their problem. And other times I can understand. Okay, I can sympathize with that. Now, guess what? I think a while ago you couldn't have two Facebook profiles, but you can have two Facebook profiles. It is perfectly okay. So when I'd left the army and I decided to start up as a professional property investor, I did create another profile, and so all my army mates are in my old Facebook, which I'm still going there, my old Facebook profile, and I sort of have my professional facing Facebook profile so as well. Now, so you can have both. Now, what I'd suggest you do if you're going to do that is have your personal one, the one that you don't want to be posting about property, etc. Have the name changed to a bit of an alias or something like that that your friends and family will know, but is not easily searchable. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. So, because otherwise you're just going to get lots of friend requests and cross pollinations and things like that going on. So yes, you can have two Facebook profiles, and I suggest that you also post on your Facebook profile. And yeah, Instagram. Okay, so Instagram is also another platform. So I am on all these different platforms, and I am active on some more than others. So I'm active on Instagram. I'm active on Facebook, LinkedIn. I'm also on there, and so this live is also going into my LinkedIn. Twitter, not so much, but I have got my own Twitter account. So Twitter account generally for your own personal profile, not necessarily for your properties or your business, but you can. I do know some people that do that, but in my experience, I've not found too much success with Twitter. And Snapchat and TikTok. Now, I am not busy or that engaged on Snapchat or TikTok, but never say never, right? Never say never. I mean, who wants to see a bit of dad dancing from time to time? I can get myself on TikTok, but I am aware that they are there, and I'm not written it off, and I do need to pull my finger out and explore it a little bit more. So that watch this space, folks. Watch this space. Now, YouTube as well. Absolutely, you should also be posting on YouTube. Everybody can create their own YouTube channel, and do you know what? You can use it as well for doing things like creating a video on the directions to your property. Let's say it's people quite often get lost, for instance. So you could actually video, I would suggest walking the route, and you could speed it up or something like that. But maybe there's certain parts of the route that are slightly difficult for people. You could video that. You could video how to operate the lockbox for getting keys out. Some people struggle with that. You could do a video of working the cooker, working the boiler, the central heating, and you can actually just have the links to your YouTube videos and give those to your guests. Okay, they can be sent to people multiple different ways by text or on your website, on how to do certain things. You can have electronic welcome packs. So that's a useful tip as well with YouTube, but you should definitely be posting on YouTube as well. Now, what I'm currently doing now is, obviously I'm recording this podcast episode, but I am living into multiple places at once. I have got my Mac that I am talking into, and on my Mac I have got a platform called StreamYard. So StreamYard enables you to live into multiple places at once. So I'm currently living on YouTube, LinkedIn, my Facebook profile, my Facebook group. So I've got my own Facebook groups and my Facebook page, Property Soldier. And so, yeah, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook simultaneously. It's not allowing anyone to live stream into any other platforms yet, but that is still to come. So StreamYard, it works a little bit like Zoom in that you can have Zoom type calls on StreamYard, and it's just not going out live. You can have conversations and people in the room, and you can see their video at the same time. So you can use it that way, but also you can use it to be living out and doing live videos at the same time. And so that's pretty cool. It's no more expensive than the paid for version of Zoom. So that's a really top tip, because a lot of people say, well, how do I find enough time to be posting in multiple places? Well, this is multitasking all at the same time, and living into different places all at the same time. And guess what I'm also doing? I'm recording a podcast episode at the same time, and that is really cool content as well. So it's could be another string to your bow. Maybe it's worth considering having a podcast, but definitely be posting on social media. Now, I've talked about the different platforms that you could be posting on, then you should be posting on. And what I'm going to say now is make sure that you are looking at the camera, not looking at yourself. Now, just for people watching this, I have actually got two cameras to be looking at. So what I've done, I've got my Mac, and also behind my Mac on a tripod, I have got my phone that is also living. So I'm using my phone to live into the progressive property community, because that is not my group. So I cannot use StreamYard to live into that group. That is obviously Progressive Properties group. So that is what I'm doing here. So I've aligned the camera aperture above the Mac aperture. And so if you're not too sure where these are, you just need to use your finger whilst you're looking at yourself, and you will see when you cover the camera aperture up. And that's where you need to be looking. Don't do what you see most people doing and looking at themselves whilst they're doing the video, because it's a little bit weird. It's a little bit like you're watching someone who's not looking at you and talking at you, but they are and they aren't. And it's just there's a disconnect between the audience and you if you are not looking at the camera. You've all seen people on the news these days talking to the reporters via Zoom, and they're not looking at the camera, are they? They're looking down or to one side, and you will understand what I mean then, that it's just a little bit odd. It's difficult to not look at yourself talking, but you just got to do it. You've got to look at the camera, and because it makes for much better. It makes it much better for the audience to be actually watching you whilst you are doing your social media. So actually, you might be seeing my eyes flick up and down slightly because I can't have the two cameras exactly together, because otherwise it would block out part of the screen for the iPhone, which is position behind the Mac. So that should explain that one. But I've done it, I've angled it, and I positioned it as best I can so that I'm looking in the same direction and everything is aligned as best as possible looking at the camera. So top tip on that one, guys, really important. Now, what I would suggest you do on your different social media channels is have a link to your website, so your bookings website. So the website where people could get through and book your serviced accommodation properties directly. Now, on websites, I've done a bit of content around this recently. If you want to help yourself get direct bookings from companies and get rent to SA properties from letting agents, I actually suggest you have a separate standalone website for that. It's not that expensive. If anyone wants to message me, I'll give you a point of contact, someone that can create you a really, really cheap but made fit for purpose website that is just targeting letting agents and corporate so companies who are going to book your service accommodation properties. Now, the reason why I leave out rent to SA from landlords there is because if your website is landlord facing as well as letting agent facing, the letting agents are going to be worried that you're going to try and nick their landlords, because you're in your landlord facing website and the copy is going to be selling the benefits of them giving you their properties to use as service accommodation. So the letting agent is going to think, and understandably think, that you're going to be in direct competition with them for landlords. So that's going to scare them off. So actually, what I suggest you do is just have a standalone website that promotes the benefits of serviced accommodation to companies who should book with you instead of putting their clients, staff, employees, visiting guests, etc., with you instead of putting them in hotels. So you're just talking about that, how much cost saving it can be, the fact that they get a lounge, they get a kitchen, etc. Okay, and that exact same website you can be showing to the letting agents, and therefore they're going to understand why you want to take their property. It's because you want to be accommodating your corporate clients. So hopefully that makes sense. Have a link to your website, but actually what I would suggest you do is don't just have a one-stop shop catch-all website talking about all the different things, Section 24 and capital allowance and things like that. Letting agents are going to be confused by that, as well as companies. So never the twain shall meet, separate the two. So have a link to your website, but it is your bookings website where people can book with you direct. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people say, I'm going to wait till I'm further down the line and until I get the keys to properties, or even when I'm up and running and successful in service accommodation. No, document your journey. I regret not documenting my journey early doors, and I was chatting into a really experienced property guru, if you like, just the other day. Not Rob Moore, a different one, so I'm not going to mention who it is. And he was saying, no, I really regret not posting my early trials and tribulations. So you don't have to have a property yet. You can be talking about the fact that you're going on a property training course, or you're learning from podcasts, you're learning from books, that you are getting yourself educated. You can be talking about doing your viewings. You can be talking about speaking to agents and speaking to landlords and doing all of the steps prior to actually getting a property. So we all see people where they've got their jingly jangly keys one. Well, there's an awful lot of content that you've missed out before that. And you know what you will find, and what I hear time and time again, is sometimes someone who's been posting their journey on social media is approached by someone that wants to give them their property or give them some joint venture finance. Now, often that person has not been commenting and not been liking on that person's social media. And so it's a bit of a weird thing. Some people just watch They don't like and they don't comment. So please don't be put off when you're not getting lots of engagement on your social media posts. Just do it anyway, because you will be getting watched by people who are just getting to know, like, and trust you. And they just want to watch you, and they might be a little bit shy, etc. So don't worry if you're not getting lots of engagement, likes and follows and shares and all of that stuff. Just do it anyway. Now, again, why would it help you raise money? Well, you can be talking about, part of your content, and don't just do it once, do it over again, is how much money you could make from a serviced accommodation property. Maybe if you've already got some, how much money you're making from serviced accommodation property, but generically, in generic terms, how much money you could make from serviced accommodation property. You could be talking about how rubbish the interest rates are in the bank right now, and how literally this much money for a deposit, this much money for leasing some furniture, let's say, and you could be bringing in £2,500 from a serviced accommodation property per month, and after all costs, could be cash flowing £1,000. Now, you're doing content like that, and someone who's got money that's literally going down in value in the bank could think, you know what, okay, sod this. I'm going to reach out to that person and say, look, okay, if I gave you X amount, how much rate of return would you be able to give me? If they ever do that, just say, well, how much would you like? Please don't just jump straight in with, I'll give you 8% or something like that. How much would work for you? And they might come out with 4% or something like that. It's going to be a lot better than they're getting in the bank. And so that is how that works. You will get landlords bringing you their properties. You could be talking about the benefits of service accommodation over using property as buy-to-let. So I don't know, you may or may not know, you've got the tenant eviction ban in place and having to give 6 months notice, and landlords being told they're going to have to wait a year to get a tenant out who's not paying any rent and things like that. That is all going on, guys. It really is. I mean, I'm a HMO and buy-to-let landlord myself. I have got experience of this going on in that side of my portfolio, but not in my serviced accommodation portfolio, because your guests are not tenants. They are guests. They live somewhere else. You're not bound by those restrictions, which, in my opinion, are completely unfair. So you could be doing that sort of content. And guess what? You're going to be keeping these properties in show home condition, guaranteeing that the money is paid on time every single month. Or if it's SA management type scenario, the landlord could be getting even more than market rental for the property and avoiding Section 24 and capital allowances. So that is all of the sort of things that you could be doing when posting on social media. And you should be posting on social media. And don't worry if you're not polished. Don't worry if you're not experienced. And don't worry if you're nervous. Just do it anyway. Feel the fear and do it anyway. So hopefully you found that useful. Let me know via my different social media channels if you found that useful, and if you have any comments or any questions. So here's to your serviced accommodation success, and remember, your future needs you. Okay, so let me jump over to any questions that anyone has been commenting. I think I've noticed Sharon's been busy. I'll jump over to, I think Sharon might be in the progressive community. I'll jump over to that. So Ben says, hi, Mikey, easy, Kevin, Gavin. Okay, let me see what Gavin has written. Hi, Kevin. A night off Clubhouse then. I might have to jump on Clubhouse later on. It's the new social media platform, Clubhouse. And so if you don't know about it, you should definitely get involved in Clubhouse. And the problem is, at the moment, you can only use an iPhone or an iPad. So the Android people are getting all upset about it. It's not my fault. I can't do anything about it. But yes, I've been a bit busy on Clubhouse, getting in early to build my profile on Clubhouse, and to see where that takes me. Okay, my mantra is, if Rob Moore's doing it, there must be something in it, right? So Rob Moore's all over it, and so am I. Okay, what other comments have we got? Let me have a look. More like 20 to 30 minutes off Clubhouse. I think that's what Mikey's saying. So, Ben, could you please cover in one of your podcasts how to check if an operator wants to buy a property of existing tired operator will work, how to analyze and what to check? I'm not sure of that question. Not sure of the question. Cover one of how to check if an operator wants to buy a property of existing tired property. It might have typoed it, it might have auto-corrected. Tired property will work, how to analyze and what to check. So I do cover, make sure you've checked out my other podcast episodes, the Service Accommodation Property Podcast. I do cover doing your due diligence. If you want it really focused, then get my book, Service Accommodation Success. Okay, you'll find that on Amazon. #1 best-selling book. So hopefully that helps. Ben. Okay, other question. I decided to write a book with my golden nuggets every time I come across one. Yeah, absolutely, Ben. And don't just write it down, post it on social media. that is the point here. Okay, let's have a look at questions that have been coming in on the progressive property community. Do you know what? I'm going to find it easier to get my phone and have a look that way. So bear with me, guys. So Asma, hi, great to hear from you. Sharon, know lots about posting on social media and also what is the best and not. Can't see the rest of that one, Sharon. Scotty's great. Yeah, Scotty, and he is funny. Dan is great as well. Okay, lots of people watching. Can't see any more questions. So anyone watching this on catch up, I'll come to anything else that Sharon does a normal thing where she writes lots and lots and lots, so I'm not going to jump in. I'll have a look after the live and see if there's any actual questions instead of comments on Sharon's. Please post contact details of the website designer, please. Send me a private message. However you're watching this, send me a DM, PM, and I will hook you up on that one. Christina. Yeah, other people are asking for that personal contact of the website guy. I'm happy to help. Just DM me and I will point you in the right direction. Yeah, and Christina said I asked the question above. So that's all cool. So hopefully that helps everybody. Got to remember I've got a camera. So for those people watching the live, remember, here's your service accommodation success, and remember, your future needs you. Take care.